Hello and welcome to Distributed Systems and Blockchain in the News. My name is Bocek and the first article is about THORChain. And here a disclaimer, I was involved in building the startup around Thor wallet, which is one of the official wallets for THORChain, so no investment otherwise. Well, in this article, THORSwap, which is a wallet for a decentralized exchange for the THORChain, they temporarily disabled sections of its website interface after a hacker previously responsible for a $450 million theft from FTX began using the platform to exchange stolen Ether for Bitcoin. And since end of September, the hacker has transferred approximately $131 million in Ethers to THORSwap and Railgun, which is a privacy service hiding where the money is coming from and going to. And this was based on data from Arkham Intelligence, which I mentioned last week. THORSwap, they announced the interface shift to maintenance mode in response, restricting trading, but allowing other functions like lending and staking. While the change affects typical users, those with technical expertise can still engage directly with the smart contracts from THORSwap and from THORChain. The hacker's conversion of Ether to Bitcoin is believed to be a laundering effort, making funds harder to trace, for example, as with Railgun with Ethereum. And once in Bitcoin, funds can be further obfuscated using other mixers and anonymity services. And here is the announcement of THORSwap. The next article is about Gitcoin. Gitcoin mistakenly sent tokens valued at approximately $500,000 to its contract address, causing the funds to become permanently irretrievable. And the error occurred after the on-chain governance vote approved funding, and instead of sending the approved funds to a multi-signature wallet, they were accidentally sent to the protocol's contract address. And this is a reminder that once you send your tokens to the wrong address, they are gone. So for such transactions, I always recommend to send first small amount, and if you see this is successful, then you can send the rest. The next article is about WebAssembly, and this was sent to me by Marco Kuoni, who was in the Distributed Systems lecture in the spring term, and he's also the CTO of Lemon Brain. And in this article, it's this article here. In this article, Marco explains how combining Docker with WebAssembly can be beneficial. And the article provides a step-by-step guide on setting up Docker for WebAssembly, building a WebAssembly image using Rust, and running this image and incorporating WebAssembly containers into Docker Compose. And what I really liked in this article is the examples given on how to compile a Rust application to WebAssembly and run it in a container. So this I was only able to retrieve via the Google cache. So here we see how this is actually done. So everybody can try this out. This I really liked a lot. However, there were some things I not fully agree. So for example, there are the benefits of faster startup times, which can be, but doesn't need to be, because WebAssembly often uses a just-in-time compiler. So I believe native applications that are written in Rust or in C, they would start faster. That's my gut feeling. I didn't do any benchmarks, so that's just my gut feeling. Then about the security, here I agree. I believe it's more secure, and smaller memory can be, does not need to be. So if you compile JavaScript to WebAssembly, I believe this will result in much more memory use than if you use something like C, C++, or Rust. And the biggest benefit in my point of view is compatibility. This is a big plus. I remember when the first M1 from Apple came out, we had issues with Docker images because they were not compiled to this architecture yet, so we couldn't run it actually, and this was a huge problem, and with WebAssembly this would not have happened. So a very nice article. And the last article, it's about Cloudflare. It's this article here. It's about Encrypted Client Hello. Cloudflare has introduced a new feature called Encrypted Client Hello to enhance internet privacy. Encrypted Client Hello hides the server name indication that is during the TLS handshake and ensures that only the user, Cloudflare, and the website owner know which website is being visited. Historically, users' internet activities were easily visible since in the early days the data was transferred in plain text. Later on, SSL and TLS were introduced, and they introduced encryption, and certain parts like the server name indication, they remained unencrypted, potentially revealing users' browsing habits. And Encrypted Client Hello addresses the server name indication issue by encrypting it. The TLS handshake with Encrypted Client Hello separates the client hello message into two parts, hiding the true website being visited behind a generic name. So we have here the client hello, which is split into two parts, hiding the true website being visited behind a generic name. In this case, it's cloudflare.ech.com, and browsers such as Chrome and Firefox are starting to support Encrypted Client Hello. Well, personally, I don't like it that much. So the client hello is split, and the message can be only read or can also be read by Cloudflare, which requires CDN to be used. And I think a better approach could be to get the server public keys via DNS. And there are two RFCs from the same authors. So this RFC and this RFC, which I like very much. And the idea is that you get the encryption key to encrypt the client hello from a DNS query that needs to be done anyway. However, I like what Cloudflare is actually doing. They are making and breaking stuff. Besides making the encrypted client hello, they broke the DNS servers 111. And this is in the following article here. And the root cause was a change in the root zone of the DNS system, where a new resource record type named ZONEMD was introduced. Cloudflare system struggled to parse this because it was new, resulting in the use of an old version of the root zone, and then eventually DNS signatures, they expired, leading to an error response. And Cloudflare acknowledged the software oversight and ruling out any external attacks, and outlined measures on how to improve this for the next time. Well, make it or break it. So if you have any interesting articles like the one from Marco Kuoni, please let me know, send me a message, send me an email. See you next week.